Every single time you misplace your keys, your phone, or your documents, you excuse yourself by blaming a poor memory or simple absent-mindedness. That is a cheap illusion. Behavioral psychology proves our brain never loses anything by accident. Every forgotten object is a hidden, unconscious manifesto of your subconscious mind. Right now, we are going to ruthlessly expose the true motives behind chronic forgetfulness and explain exactly what reality your psyche is desperately trying to escape. To capture the mechanics of this phenomenon, we must push aside stupid excuses about fatigue and dissect Sigmund Freud's fundamental concept of parapraxis, or Freudian slips. Psychoanalysis proves losing any physical object is never a system failure in the brain, but the direct technical execution of a hidden desire that you are far too ashamed to admit to yourself. Our subconscious operates with blunt, linear logic. It consistently strives to discard hidden negativity, pain, or psychological pressure. If you are constantly losing your house keys, it has nothing to do with a poor memory. It means your brain subconsciously refuses to return to that home, to that specific partner, or to the domestic suffocating issues waiting behind the door. If you regularly misplace your work badge or company phone, your psyche is literally screaming its hatred for your job, trying to physically block your access to the source of your stress. You can lie to yourself all you want, but losing an object is always a symbolic act of liberation. Your subconscious simply hijacks control of your hands and purges anything from your reality that triggers internal discomfort. The chaos in your pockets is never an accident. It is a covert rebellion of your operating system against the very life you have built around yourself. The next diagnosis is covert sabotage and deep psychological infantilism. We regularly witness people who manage to accidentally lose their passport right before an important interview, their tickets before a life-altering move, or critical documents before a massive deal. This is not karma, and it is not bad luck. This is the pure psychology of a paralyzing fear of the future and accountability. When the sheer scale of upcoming change terrifies your ego, your brain artificially manufactures a force majeure. Losing documents is a brilliant trick of the subconscious, allowing you to instantly shed the weight of decision-making and secure a legitimate alibi. I'm not a coward. I just lost my passport. It was completely out of my hands. Welded directly onto this is the infantile cry for help pattern. In childhood, a kid creates chaos or loses things to hijack their parents' attention and force everyone to scramble around them. The grown infant does the exact same thing. They orchestrate a domestic catastrophe so that everyone around them immediately trips into rescue mode. This is an unconscious, pathetic attempt to announce your mental weakness to the world and shift control of your life onto someone else's shoulders. But if we temporarily push aside subconscious manipulations, we collide directly with the technical side of the equation, the psychology of chronic cognitive overload. Let's look closely at the operation of your brain's prefrontal cortex. This specific region is single-handedly responsible for complex analytics, willpower, and maintaining short-term focus. The fundamental problem is that its resources are strictly finite, yet the modern individual lives in a state of permanent stress and chaotic multitasking. When your internal operating system is heavily overloaded with notifications, deadlines, and anxious loops, the brain instantly shifts into an aggressive energy-saving mode. At this exact millisecond, the prefrontal cortex literally cuts off short-term memory recording for all automatic routine actions. You place your phone on a table or toss your keys onto a counter, but your focus was physically absent from that room. It was entirely consumed by processing your latest work stress. The the brain simply never recorded the event. Chronic forgetfulness is not a quirky character trait. It is a rigid, dangerous warning sign that you have completely lost control of your own life. Your attention is ripped to shreds, your cognitive reserve is scorched to ash, and your psyche is exactly one step away from deep clinical burnout. You are losing your belongings simply because your brain can no longer cope with reality.
Now, let us shift our focus from physical objects to mental ones and dissect the most terrifying symptom, the Goldfish syndrome. Millions of people face this daily, forgetting why they walked into a room or completely losing the thread of a conversation 30 seconds after it started. Pop psychology comfortingly labels this as simple fatigue, but we are going to deliver a brutal takedown of your digital addiction.
Let's admit the raw truth. Your brain has undergone deep degradation. The modern individual has trained their neural network to endlessly consume short-form videos, 15-second posts, and instant, dirt-cheap dopamine. Every single time you mindlessly scroll through a feed, social media algorithms ravage your reward system. The brain becomes hardwired to receive pleasure without making the slightest cognitive effort. As a direct result, the prefrontal cortex physically atrophies its capacity to hold long-term focus and concentrate on complex, demanding tasks. This is the psychology of the new age's mental invalids. You are no longer the masters of your own thoughts. Your attention has been completely devoured and digested by big tech algorithms. Your working memory has shriveled to the exact dimensions of a smartphone screen, and you are physically incapable of holding an abstract thought in your head for more than half a minute because your brain has forgotten how to function without constant, artificial stimulation. Let us draw a cold-blooded conclusion. The chronic loss of your belongings and your thoughts is never an accident. It is not genetics, and it is not a poor memory. The chaos inside your pockets and the regular forgetting of basic things is a direct mirror reflection of the absolute chaos inside your head and your complete inability to manage your own reality. You are either infantily sprinting away from responsibility, or your cognitive reserve has been completely scorched to ash.
And now, a brutal question for those who are actually ready to accept the diagnosis. What do you lose most frequently? The keys to places your subconscious mind honestly refuses to return to? Or your train of thought right in the middle of a conversation because your brain is definitively burnt out by short-form videos? Write honestly in the comments section below. Let's ruthlessly rip open this truth.